gather round the fire and lend me your ears. I shall tell you a tale of the Mongols, a fearsome people who once shook the very foundations of the mighty Chinese Empire. It's a story of conquest, of blood, and of a people who rose from the harsh Gobi Desert to rule over the most prosperous land in all of Asia. You see, long ago, the Chinese had built the Great Wall to keep the Mongol barbarians at bay. They thought themselves safe, hidden behind their towering fortifications, but little did they know that a force more powerful than any stone and mortar was about to be unleashed upon them. In the year 1205, a young man named Temujin, better known as Genghis Khan, had united the warring Mongol tribes and forged them into a fearsome army. With his brilliant military tactics and the unwavering loyalty of his men, he set his sights on the riches of China. The first to feel the wrath of the Mongols was the kingdom of Xixia, located in the west. Genghis amassed a force of 75,000 men and marched upon their capital of Zhongxing. The Xixia put up a valiant fight with 150,000 soldiers, including 100,000 armored pikemen and crossbowmen. But the Mongols were not to be deterred. They unleashed a hail of arrows upon the Chinese phalanxes, while their heavy cavalry smashed into the flanks of the enemy. The battle was fierce, with both sides losing countless men, but in the end, the Mongols emerged victorious. Genghis then turned his attention to the mighty Jin dynasty in the north. The Jin ruled over a vast empire, and their capital of Beijing was fortified with walls and towers that seemed impenetrable. The Mongols, however, had a trick up their sleeve. While a large force attacked the Great Wall, Genghis himself led a smaller army to cross the desert at the western end, catching the Jin off guard. The ensuing battle was a slaughter. The Jin cavalry was no match for the lightning-fast Mongol horsemen, and their pikemen and crossbowmen were cut down by the relentless arrow storm. Within 6 months, Genghis had razed 90 cities to the ground, and the Jin were forced to retreat ever southward. But the Mongols were far from done. Genghis turned his attention to the mighty Song dynasty, the last bastion of Chinese power. The Song had fortified their cities to an unprecedented degree, with thick walls, deep moats, and formidable siege weapons. For years, the Mongols besieged these cities, using every trick in their arsenal. They flooded the land around Zhongxing, forcing the defenders to surrender. They employed Chinese prisoners as human shields, and even introduced a new weapon, the trebuchet, to breach the walls of Xiangyang. The siege of Kaifeng was perhaps the fiercest of all. The city's 1 million inhabitants fought like lions, raining down incendiary bombs and noxious gases upon the Mongols. But in the end, the Mongols' relentless determination and sheer numbers prevailed. When the city fell, the slaughter was unimaginable. Thousands of girls leaped from the walls to escape the Mongol invaders, and the very streets ran red with the blood of the innocent. Yet even as they rained down destruction upon China, the Mongols were forced to adapt. They incorporated Chinese engineers and siege weapons into their armies, and even relied on Chinese collaborators to help them navigate the unfamiliar terrain. And it was this adaptability, combined with their legendary ferocity, that ultimately allowed the Mongols to conquer the entirety of China. In 1279, Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis, officially declared the establishment of the Yuan dynasty, marking the first time in history that China had been ruled by a foreign power. Ah, but what a triumph it was, my young ones! The Mongols, once a scattered people of the steppe, had risen to become the masters of the Middle Kingdom. They had shattered the myth of Chinese invincibility and ushered in a new era of Mongol dominance. So the next time you look upon the Great Wall, remember the tales of the Mongol horde and the fearsome warriors who dared to challenge the might of the Dragon Throne. For the Mongols were no mere barbarians, but rather a people who forged an empire the likes of which the world had never seen.